Good day to the nation. I'm Vin Robinson, and this is the Coast to Coast Sports Show. You're watching the Coast to Coast Sports Show. Now, you're probably wondering why I was wearing that whistle today. The whole purpose of why I'm wearing the whistle is because I'm issuing a foul. I'm issuing a foul out there on the whole sport world. The reason why I say that is because since this pandemic has began, everybody is talking about our state of emergency, the stalling. But what I haven't heard is how are we going to solve the problem? Where I come from, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So when I roll all this down, I'm thinking about conjunction junction, what's your function? So tell us, how are you going to use your skills to make us get back to the sport industry?
I come from a very athletic family and they've been super supportive, and my favorite event is the 100 backstroke. I do also do the 100 freestyle as well, but backstroke is definitely my favorite. I was diagnosed with dystonia in 2010 and it's definitely progressed since then. It's a neurological movement disorder. It basically causes my muscles to not understand the messages that they're getting. My biggest challenge in paraswimming, there's definitely been a couple of roadblocks just with my disability progressing. I've had to relearn a lot of things in my stroke, and whenever my body changes, I have to learn how to adapt. I think one of the biggest things for me in parasports, we have classification to look at our disability level. So with able-bodied swimming, they swim based on age, but for us, we swim based on disability level just to even the playing field. Because of my disability, I have to go pretty much every year. We always have to go to Europe for a classification, either Europe or Australia. And it's always something that I have to fund myself.
What do you know about CanFund?
I think it's awesome that they support athletes and the amount of money that they raise to help athletes in all different sports, as well as para-athletes and able-bodied athletes.
A few years ago, to 2017, we launched a program saying to Canadian women, minimum donation is $150, and your donation will only be funding female athletes. So what if I made you a 150 woman right now? We will give you a check today for $6,000.
Wow, that is amazing. The $6,000 would be amazing to go towards training camps, and I have warm weather camps coming up this year that will be at my own cost, and just to be able to take care of that will be huge, and that'll really help me prepare for Tokyo this year. No, women are supporting other women is so cool. I own my own small business, and I always love that, to be able to support one another. Hey, all the women in Saskatoon, I'd love for you all to support the CanFund 150 Women and support our Canadian female athletes.
Today's program brought to you by Eliminator RC. Proud to be part of your community.
Welcome back to our show. Today we're going to be cutting in with a little bit more of that hard-hitting boxing action. Check this out with Decada Boxing.
Let's meet our fighters officially.
4 2-minute rounds in the professional women's 147-pound division. And now the official fighter introductions. In the blue corner, making her professional debut, she's 25 years old and stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. She weighed in at 144 pounds, fighting out of Cancun, Mexico. Please welcome Maria Guzman. And in the red corner with a 2-0 professional record, she's 26 years old and stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. She weighed in at 146 pounds, fighting out of Calgary, Alberta. Please welcome Country Candy Wyatt. This bout will be contested under professional rules. The referee in charge is Mr. Joel Scobie.
So Joel Scobie has some final instructions for our boxers here. And again, we have what could be considered the face of women's boxing in Canada, Candy Wyatt, taking on the police officer from Mexico, Maria Elizabeth Moreno Guzman. And it's 4 2-minute rounds here in this division, and we're going to see an excellent back and forth matchup here.
I'm glad I heard that comment, Jeremy, about the leading the charge with women's boxing. I mean, Candy stands for one thing, and that's showing that women's boxing in Canada is here. Women's boxing in Canada is exciting, and it's a sport that she feels is a bit under focused on, and she's here to change that.
Hands are flying from both of these fighters. Candy landing the majority of them. Now some body shots as Guzman coming forward.
A little bit of a late shot there from Guzman, but tying her up, I would say that Maria is not someone who's going to shy away from a fight or shy away from strikes like that. Ooh, solid shot to the face. Reason I say that, Jeremy, is she is a police officer in Cancun, Mexico.
And the toughness to be a police officer in Mexico, I'm sure, is through the roof. And of course, to be a female police officer, the added stress there that she has to have. But she is on vacation right now. She says boxing is a vacation, but she's eating a lot of punches here from Candy Wyatt. And Candy Wyatt, very tough. She's dodging a lot of these punches that come. There's a nice right hand as heads come in forward and clash.
Indicative of Mexican boxers, tough as nails always. And Candy is landing some massive strikes straight into the jaw. Oh,
that's
and Maria,
a big shot.
Huge shot. And Maria continues to keep on her feet and drive herself forward.
Extremely tough, and again, you talk about the wrestling pedigree of Mexican fighters, and a warning to Guzman not to hold on to the arms, and there's a big straight hand.
Straight right, straight left. I've said this before in broadcast, but this is looking a little bit like a one-sided Rock'em Sock'em Robot match.
Well, the referee has stepped in, and I think that's the right call there, not letting this go on anymore. And Candy Wyatt with a massive victory there. She was teeing off at will against Maria Elizabeth Moreno Guzman of Mexico, and she will get the victory here. I think Guzman showed her toughness when she was able to withstand the flurry of blows that came, the straight lefts and rights. It was the big hook that was the signature punch there from Candy Wyatt, and Candy crushed here tonight as she was able to win this fight by TKO and an excellent referee stoppage there here at the end of the first round.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joel Scobie stops the match at 1 minute and 55 seconds of the very first round. The winner by TKO in the red corner, Country Candy Wyatt!
Candy Wyatt with the victory is now still undefeated in her career, 3-0. And again, Candy Wyatt proving why she is the face of boxing in Canada.
All right, Candy, let's get you over here for a second. Just face the camera over there. Candy, you wanted to come out and make a statement tonight, and I know why. You want to be the person leading the charge in women's boxing in Canada. What does such a dominant victory mean for you in that charge?
Hopefully that it just lights a fire and gets me on my way.
You gotta start somewhere, you gotta push somewhere. But I have to say, I'm incredibly respectful of the fact that you want to drive this sport, specifically for women's boxing in Canada, forward. And I have to say, it was an absolute honor to call your fight. Now this wasn't a fight that we were originally going to have. There's somebody that you want to fight but has yet to sign those papers. Is there somebody that you would like to call out, Ken?
Yeah, Sheena Kane in Edmonton needs to step up and fight me.
I know we're in a boxing ring, but those sound like fighting words to me. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Candy Wyatt has called out Sheena Kane.
When I'm down in the dumps, nothing tends to make me smile a little bit more than seeing cheerleaders jump around, be coordinated. It's such a sport. It's not really recognized as a sport. It should be. These individuals go out there and beat up their bodies probably more than a lot of people realize. So let's pay homage to It's that time of the day, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, where we get into some cuts from the National Basketball League of Canada. This pumps me up so much. I can't wait to see real sport get back and hit the hardwood, but until then, we gotta love what we got in our own backyard, support it, because we want to push this to the forefront. National Basketball League of Canada, check it out, subscribe, get involved, love it.
How's it going, basketball fans? Welcome again to NBL Canada this week. Aaron Sanders here as we're going to break down the past 2 weeks of action here in the National Basketball League of Canada. And then afterwards, we're going to have a brief discussion with the all-time assist leader in NBL Canada history, Clifford Clinkscales of the Halifax Hurricanes. And then we're going to top things off with a fan favorite, NBLC Cuts. So here we go. This is episode 8, and we're starting right now. Let's go to February 10th, where the Windsor Express traveled to the road and played against the Moncton Magic. A rare feat here in the National Basketball League of Canada this season, as the Express defeated the Moncton Magic at home. And let's see a brief recap of that courtesy of the Magic broadcasters, Adam Gould, the heavyweight voice, and Hoops Tingley himself, David Tingley.
All right, Adam Gould here with Dave Tingley at the Moncton Avenir Center. Tonight, our Moncton Magic take the loss 116-111.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, Jeremiah Morty said it in the post-game interview there. He said it was just an avalanche. They got going downhill early, started making shots, and they just couldn't get it back. Kind of like the message, what Windsor got the day before on the island. Island got going early, and they just couldn't get it back. Magic did a good job of, closing it down late, but just dug themselves too big a hole early, and you give a team like Windsor with those vets the confidence that they're going to be in this game, and they rode that confidence all through the four quarters, and no one more than Alex Johnson ended with 30 and 11. I mean, and I said, I didn't say his name all that much because there's other guys, but he didn't do anything spectacular. He just took care of the ball, made the right pass for his 11 assists, and made open shots time after time.
Yeah, Windsor definitely the better team tonight. They out-hustled us. They shot the ball extremely well, and we were down 20 at the end of the third quarter. Was able to cut it back to 5, but we lose this one by 5 points.
We got to mention Jeremiah Morty, our player of the game for the Magic, 33 and 8. But let's give a shout out to the record holders, the guys that set the records tonight for Windsor Express. Ryan Anderson didn't quite get the 9 rebounds he needed to become the league's all-time leading rebounder, but Kirk Williams Jr. became tied Anthony Anderson tonight for most games played in the league, and he'll break that record Thursday against Halifax. So congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations. So at the end of tonight's game, 116-111, the Moncton Magic fall to the Windsor Express, and looking to rebound this coming Friday night against the Halifax Hurricanes.
Family day here in the Rose City, as you could tell by my suit. But anyhow, the Sudbury Five were able to pull out a dramatic finish, an incredible victory, 116-114 over the Windsor Express. Here's a brief recap of that right now. It was pretty much back and forth after a dismissal first few minutes of the game, but the Sudbury Five said nothing to it as they had a big man take care of the business. His name, Marlon Johnson, double-double, 37 points, 16 boards and change. That 37 points is his career high. Helping him along the way, Dexter Williams Jr. This guy was significant, knowing that he was in foul trouble, ending up with 23 points. And then J.R. Holder ending up with 23 points of his own. Sudbury ending up with a 38-point fourth quarter to seal off the deal against the Windsor Express. On the Windsor Express's side, there were a lot of things to take into consideration, but now they dropped to a 7-9 record. Quinnell Brown, give the game ball to him with 23 points. First game back home in an Express uniform, his 5th game overall. Not a bad job from him. Alex Superman Johnson providing the void with 17 points. Derek Nix, troublesome inside, but he was able to provide his 10 boards, and Kemi Osei with a double-double, 19 points and 11 rebounds. Key takeaways from this game, Sudbury knows a thing or two about dominating the basket and finishing strong. The Windsor Express weren't able to capitalize on it as much. There were some key mistakes there when it comes to the turnovers and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you have to give credit to the Sudbury Five. They pulled through. They were down by a couple of points in the fourth quarter, but they bounced back. So the final score, 116-114.
All right, it's time for the NBLC Players of the Week. The Player of the Week goes to Kane Broom of the St. John's Edge, and this rookie came off real strong from the bench and helped the Edge to 2 key victories this past week. Kane averaged 22.5 points per game while averaging 54% from field goal range. St. John's still in the hunt for an NBL Canada playoff spot. Meanwhile, the Canadian Player of the Week goes to Marvell Waite of the Halifax Hurricanes. Marvell averaged 20.5 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist per game as the Hurricanes keep chugging along in the Atlantic Division. And those are your NBLC Players of the Week.
Okay, joining me, the Deputy Commissioner of the National Basketball League of Canada, Audley Stevenson. And Audley, you've been a very busy man in the last few days giving awards to players that have been around the NBLC for a long time. You were over in the Maritimes not so long ago, over in Halifax, to give Clifford Clinkscales the recognition he rightfully deserves. 2,000 assists in the National Basketball League of Canada. You've seen him since day one. Talk a little bit about his play and how much impact he has put out here in the National Basketball League of Canada and Halifax.
Yeah, Clifford has been everything to Halifax, whether it be the Rainmen organization and now the Hurricanes. He has been the heart and soul of the team. For someone who's not from Halifax originally. The love that he has for that city, and it's given back to him as well, reciprocated. So that's wonderful to see. And again, he's just been the heart and soul of the organization. And the 2,000 assists is remarkable. First player in league history to do anything, come anywhere close to that. And he's done that in such a spectacular way. We know how flashy he can be, and nifty passes, and getting the ball right to where it needs to be. And he's just been everything to the organization.
Not only he's an unselfish man on the court, but he's an unselfish and humble man off the court too. So right now we're going to shift things over to an interview that Mavs Gillis of Eastling TV had with Clifford Kingskills.
Cliff, that's for the game, you received the plaque for 2,000 career assists. What does that mean to you to be a guy that's passed the ball and given 2,000 opportunities to guys to score?
Well, as far as the milestone, it really didn't hit me yet, but I mean, that's what I do best. Everybody has a role in the team, and what I'm good at is finding my players that can put the basketball in the hole. So it's my job to get them the ball. So I feel like I got the easy part. I just got to get them in their sweet spots, and they do what they do best, and that's score.
Can you imagine if when you first came to Halifax that you would have had this much of a connection and this much of a ride with the city and this team and the organizations that were Halifax Pro Basketball?
I knew from the first year that I liked it here a lot. I mean, the fans accepted me from year one, showed me so much love. In year one, I had my own little fan club, which was great. So I pretty much figured it would be like this, yes.
What advice do you give to a young point guard that's coming up and wants to ensure that they are finding the right options at the critical times?
Be patient, trust your players, trust your coaches, and always try to make the correct read. It ain't always about making a home run play. Sometimes you got to hit singles, so just be patient, make the right read. And my main thing, I don't care about stats, anybody tell you, I just want to win. But my main thing I take pride in is taking care of the basketball. I care about my turnovers more than anything. I do not want to turn the basketball over.
And you shifted things over here to the Rose City. You gave Kirk Williams Jr. a plaque honoring the most games played by anybody in the league's history. I mean, Kirk Williams Jr. has gone from team after team, but it feels like he found his true calling in Ontario in the National Basketball League of Canada. I mean, how important is this guy?
It's fitting that he achieved his milestone in the Windsor Express uniform, considering he won a championship with the organization and was the finals MVP. But again, another remarkable achievement and milestone to capture as a league. It's important that we do these because in terms of recognition standpoint. But again, to be the player to play more games in the league than anyone else. Kirk Williams Jr. started in year number 2 with the Oshawa Power, and he's been a contributor ever since, and just wonderful for him to be recognized and us to be able to acknowledge his achievements in this manner.
This is the 9th year of the National Basketball League of Canada, and milestones will keep on piling up for players, and I get that there's going to be some more milestones that's going to be coming along the doorsteps of some players as well at the end of the season.
Well, and there will be, and I think that when you talk about the league as a whole, this is, we are Canada's longest running professional basketball league. This is the 9th season. There are a lot of accomplishments and milestones to be celebrated, and that will be achieved and celebrated, and we absolutely want to do that because recognition is extremely important. Since day one, I've always felt that to be the case, and glad that we're able to do that. So yes, there will be more players who will achieve milestones. Alex Johnson on the verge of getting 2,000 career points. Sam Muldrow's on the verge of becoming the all-time leader in block shots. Ryan Anderson, had he not been on the injury reserve with an injury, he probably would have been the rebounding champion because he only needs one more to get to reach that landmark milestone as well.
And that's interesting too. We talk about recognizing some more people over in Newfoundland on the 23rd. A big pride and joy of the Newfoundland area is going to be recognized. Carl English's jersey will be retired in the Mile 1 Center rafters. You've heard what I said on NBL Canada updates. Now you're going to hear from the guy that's seen one guy come in and create a big impact to the St. John's Edge community. What can you say about Carl English?
From day one, the English impact and the effect that Carl has had on his community the team and the league overall. It's been tremendous. I can remember being at the very first game when he made it for the first home game in Newfoundland at Mile 1 Center, and the eruption of the crowd hearing his name called. And we're talking about a player who's homegrown product that's left and been away for 16 years or so, playing professionally all over the world, and now he's come back home for the first time, and many are seeing him play. Many people who saw him grow up are now seeing him play pro for the very first time. So it was really a special night, a sort of special season. We've seen the things that he's done on the court. 58 points, set a new league record for 58 points for the most points scored. Became the first Canadian in our league to win league MVP. So enough can be said about the impact Carl English has had, and to be able to be on hand and I'll be there to recognize him is a really special thing from the perspective of our league, and to watch a player who has had such a tremendous impact in the manner in which he has. The professional manner is tremendous. So we're just really, really excited, and to know that he, many will call him a Canadian icon, and quite frankly, he is a legend. And to know that a player of his caliber, chose to end his career in the last 2 seasons of his career in our league is truly special as well.
Absolutely huge. Audley, thank you for your time, and we'll see you down the road. We'll see you in Newfoundland on the 23rd.
Well.
It's time for NBLC Cuts. I don't need to say anything else, folks. Let the video tell you the tale. Here it is.
Lots of guys to watch on NBLC Live.
Okay, what are the highlights? What about our favorite players? What about our favorite team? This little interesting feature we call NBLC Cuts. Here it is.
Look at Wayne in there. Oh, yes.
And we all know Marcus Lewis hates him.
The flush.
Out to Corey Allman, under 2 seconds to go. Gets it off.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Drains it.
Stripped away by Clint Scales. Back the other way, Canes have numbers. Guy throws it down with the one-hander. As Mason with the unselfish play there.
Game right now. Thomas down low and a big dunk for Monte
Robinson.
Well defended there, too. Oh, look at that fake from Corey. Oh, the magician.
Dexter Williams Jr. leaves it there for Johnson with the cram. 30 points for Johnson.
What's going
Corey Allman.
what's going on here?
Oh, boy, it's my buddy Jason Capson proposing.
What's he up to? She put it on. Okay, we've got love in the building, fans.
Fast campus. And Clayton counted and one. Check you out, Mr. Clayton, as he poses. Marquise taking the Big Ten product.
Into the post, Marvell Wade. And finds the cutter.
Oh,
Kindred, beautiful block.
Here's Guy, look out. And Guy will throw it down with 2 hands.
Smothering.
Wow.
Billy White. Marcus Lewis.
This score is going to change it all.
Whipped inside and thrown down.
There.
And Desley. And one, baby.
Woo! Dez going to work. If that's not on the weekly NBLC highlight reel, the Make the Cut. Have you seen that?
All right, this has been a fun episode of NBLC this week, and thank you all for tuning in and watching this past couple of weeks of action here in the National Basketball League of Canada. As always, I have to remind you, be sure to subscribe to NBLC Live today. Like I said, at the end of the week, Carl English's jersey will be retired over in St. John's, Newfoundland, and the only way you can watch it is on NBLC Live, so be sure to be aware of that. Around the NBLC, the National Basketball League of Canada's official podcast, hosted by Scott Squires. Tune in every week to see what figures he's going to be talking to. I guarantee you it's going to be an interesting episode. As for me, I'm done here. I'll see you next week on NBLC This Week, but for now, this be Aaron Sanders saying so long.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's show. I wanted to just reiterate about that conjunction junction, what's your function? So many great minds exist in this world. If we take a little bit of time to put them together, we might be able to solve this problem. Take it to your municipality, take it to your parliament, take it to the people that might be able to listen to what your concerns are. Until next time, stay safe, coast to coast, C2C.